Hello, folks. On this show, I tend to tell you what to do and what not to do, the do's and don'ts, if you will. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, are you telling me how to live my life? What, you have all the answers? You think that you know what's best for me? Yes, that is precisely what I think. And I think it's also worth doing one concise video where I just sum up how your life should go. And this is based on someone who knows millions of people and has been around for at least 46 years. This is divided into two categories, men and women. Men, this is how it should go. Now, I've never met a happier couple than some Christians, Catholics who married in their early 20s and had tons of kids. That seems to be the ideal. When you get married that young, you tend to grow together. So movie night's Monday night, you develop that tradition together. When someone gets married in their 30s and 40s, they already have their traditions and they don't feel like changing their ways. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. However, I am not naive enough to think I can convince you not to sow your wild oats. So while giving respect to the couples that figure it out early, this is for the rest of you, and I'm going to start with reality. And the reality is everyone wants to go around and screw and get wasted and do coke and heroin and have orgies. Got it. Women, I think you'll find that when it comes to promiscuous sex, you kind of get the idea sooner than men do, and that's evolution. You see, you want to sort of stick to the caveman world because we've been cavemen for much longer than we've been these new social justice super liberals who want to crap on everything traditional. So men, you have to go to high school, you have to graduate, you don't have to go to college. College is dumb. College is $60,000 in debt for what? Mass comm? Interning is much more educational than going to school these days. So intern somewhere, figure out what you want to do with your life, and work hard at it. No one is not rich with less than 10,000 hours. No, sorry, more than 10,000 hours in one vocation. I don't care if it's running a restaurant. If you're ambitious, you bust your ass and you put in the time, you eventually will make $1 million in maybe 10 years. Now, if you hop around from vocation to vocation, maybe not. And with entrepreneurs, it's slightly different because you have to have 12 failures for every one success. So you might have 20 years where you're broke and then make 10 million. You're playing around with the numbers here. Generally, though, school is a waste of time. And you're going to want to sow your oats from 20 to, I think we can go, most men can really go up to, say, 30. Now, you're going to say, I don't want kids, I'm not ready for that. That's not true. However, around 30, you're going to want to start to get serious, maybe even wear a bow tie. Don't wear these fake ones that you just clip on because they move around too much. But yeah, eventually you're going to have to propose. And a lot of these these lonely cougars who complain about no men want them anymore, yeah, dudes, you're culpable here. Propose, you pussies. You've been living with this girl for 2 years, 3 years. What are you going to do, get her but with bigger tits? You're not going to get better than her. So if you've been living with the girl for more than, say, 6 months, you've been dating her for a long time, and you haven't had a drop-down, drag-out fight, put a ring on it. You're not going to get better. And if you've had sex with, what, like 10, 20 women, I think you get the idea. As far as coke and booze and partying goes, you started that around 14, 15. 25 was 10 years of partying. You still haven't sowed your wild oats. If your oats don't get sown in a decade, let alone 15, 20 years, I think we have other problems going on here. So you figured out partying. It's time to put a ring on it. It's time to breed. Now, once you've done that, you're going to make kids. Now, a big question that comes up, too, is how do I know who to marry? This right here is all you need to do. The Curmudgeon's Guide to Getting Ahead by Charles Murray will explain to you who you need to marry. Basically, it comes down to if there's irrevocable differences with you two that are sort of intrinsic to your personality, like you're confrontational or you're always late or you don't mind a mess. If she's tidy, punctual, and scared of confrontation, that might not be the one for you. Also, here's another thing Charles Murray points out. If when you're having a fight, you do these really vindictive stabs, like you've always been insecure because you'll never be your father, or something where you know a secret about them and you use it against them, where you're really trying to genuinely hurt the person and not argue about the facts, that person might not be the one for you. That's not the spouse that I described. That's not your girlfriend. That's not the one you're living with. So marry her, okay? And then once you have kids, you'll realize you'll have this huge impetus to create a legacy, to make money. You'll have a reason for living. And that's why we're all here at the end of the day, is to breed. And I've always said with kids, 1 is for losers, 2 is for fags, 3 is a bare minimum. 5 is ideal. And when it comes to having stuff in common with her, by the way, you don't have much more in common than kids. That is going to take up 80% of your leisure time. So now you both essentially work at the same place. You have the same sports team. That's all your recreation. So you're sharing all that recreation in common. You now have a ton in common. That is the one, get it done. Now, ladies, totally different. You see, there are some of you who should be in the workforce. I would say about 5%. Barbara Corcoran types, Maggie Thatcher types, they should be in the workforce. The rest of you should be looking for a mate. And you'll be able to tell this within yourself. If you don't get exhilarated by your career, if your career is stupid, like it's a seating plan for fashion shows or it's marketing, you're making commercials, you're a line producer, you're a stylist, you are some sort of gopher. It's weird how we think that women are slaves if they serve their man in a marriage, but they're liberated if they sit in the cubicle and serve someone else's man. I don't really understand it. But if you are one of those 95%, you have to be looking for mates. Now, unfortunately, everyone's been irrevocably brainwashed into thinking that nothing before 25 matters. Okay, fine. Nothing before 25 matters. However, ladies, these are your ovaries. It's an hourglass. It turns upside down at 30. The sand is draining from 30 to 35. By 35, the sand is gone. Now, I know you have an aunt who had a kid at 50. Yes, that's called anecdotal evidence. Talk to a doctor about the general pattern. The odds are, by definition, that you are going to fall into this general pattern, and that is that your ovaries are drying up. So, you have to start looking for a viable option, a viable mate. And around 25, you need to start finding a guy that's not going to cheat on you. That means no musicians or comedians. Any job where the man stands on stage and is admired by people means he's going to cheat on you. Men are only as loyal as their opportunities. So musicians and comedians have too many opportunities. Now, there's a lot of lazy guys out there who are going to let this relationship fall apart and not going to propose. One trick I find for that, especially in New York, which I've described as an elephant's graveyard for ovaries, go for expats, Western expats. Go for guys from Australia, Canada, Britain. If they had to struggle to get to the city you're in, then they have a certain level of tenacity and industriousness that's going to prove good for you in a wedding. And by the way, when you're looking for guys, you're looking for ambitious guys. They don't have to be successful. If a photographer gets up at 9 a.m. on a Monday and starts working on his dumb vocation. I happen to think being a photographer is a stupid vocation, but whatever. If he's doing that at 9 a.m. on Monday, that means he's a reliable spouse. That's all you need is ambition, because we live in a free country here. We're living in the Western world. So even guys with bad ideas for careers, if they work hard at them, they'll generate at least $60K a year. And that's how you know who you're going to settle down with. And I know you don't want kids now. You're too young to want to have kids, but your ovaries don't have that option. Your ovaries can't change your mind. And by the time you're 35, you're going to be done. And I know Kim Cattrall and all these Sex and the City types tell you that it's cool not to have kids. They're wrong. And if you want to know why I'm right, check out anyone in a hospice. The dying people who have kids have this sort of serenity about them. But the dying people who don't, they are panicking because they're realizing that, yes, we are here to breed, and they didn't breed. So it makes them really nervous. And by the way, I don't understand why you just want to end your lineage. I mean, we had saber-toothed tigers that we ran away from. We had the Black Plague. We had world wars. We had the Industrial Revolution. All these people got the Benz building the Brooklyn Bridge, working and working and working. This is your relatives I'm talking about. I'm talking about your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Did all this work to get you here, and you just go, meh, we're done. We're done here. Maybe it's part of atheism. People don't think it's a miracle that we're here, so they just sort of poo-poo it. No, it's a miracle that we're here, and it's all part of the bigger plan. We're supposed to, just like a business, you know, they notice what works and they keep doing that. That's what evolution is. We notice something works and we keep going with it. You work. You should breed. And I know you've been traumatized by these boomers. Thanks, boomers. I've discussed this ad infinitum, but I really am annoyed when I go on Facebook and I look at all my friends from high school. I'm not talking about I'm in the creative class or the media class or New York City or Montreal where it's a weird demographic. I'm talking about all the normies that I went to school with, they don't have kids. And I think it's because they were traumatized by divorce and they think that they'll be terrible parents. No, you'll be great parents. I know people who grew up with single moms. They end up being way better dads than normal dads because they want to make sure they don't make the same mistakes their father made. My dad was a great dad because his dad would beat the shit out of all the brothers in the family. And he was determined not to make those same mistakes. So ladies, 25 is when you get serious. You got to be breeding before 30. I know it sounds crazy, but if you want to have a good number like 5, they take about 2 years. Yes, I know a baby takes 9 months, but overall, for you to be comfortable for the next one and be ready to rock, it's sort of a 2-year thing. 5 kids, that's 10 years. 40, you're not having kids. My wife's first kid, I think she was 34, they wheeled her through a door that said geriatric mothers. You see, I'm telling you from experience because I've made these mistakes. I only made 3, and I'm 46. I'm the oldest dad in my son's class. When I go to parent-teacher interviews, I'm a geriatric. And this has only begun. When he graduates, I'm going to be 66. Hello, I'm so proud of my boy. Proud of your boy. I want you to become proud of your boy. And part of that is becoming a proud boy. Quitting masturbating is a huge part of this. But basically understanding that biology exists for a reason. So, guys, shit or get off the pot. You've had your party years. Around 30, you got to start getting serious. You got to start breeding. Grow some balls and put a ring on it. This wedding ceremony isn't just a random piece of paper. The tradition exists for a reason. It's a big fucking deal, and you won't understand it until you're on the other side. I'm telling you from the other side, it's awesome. Come aboard. And ladies, you have a due date. You have a best before date. They're called ovaries. So start getting serious around 25 because around 30, it's last call for alcohol. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
They reach the final precipice. This is the last chance to turn back. Yet over they go, casting themselves bodily out into space.
Did you see that? That was your ovaries leaving the building. Elvis has left the building. It's a pretty sad state of affairs that I have to tell young millennials to get out there and get horny, and I have to tell women to understand their value and know that they got to get a ring on it. But that's the situation we're in. So I guess all I'm saying is be normal human beings. We haven't reinvented the wheel. The system you've come up with, which is pure sabotage, is not better. Stop being a doggy mom. Stop being a video game player. Grow up and get real. I promise you won't regret it. Hi folks, that was a Rebel Media short. I have my own show on Rebel Media called How's It Going? You got to pay for that one. Check it out right here.